أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ناض عليا مظهر العجائب تجدعون لك في النوائب كل هم وغم سينجلي بعظمتك يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله بنبوتك يا محمد يا محمد يا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم بولايتك يا علي يا علي يا علي يا علي أدركني 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 في سبيل الله بعصمتك يا بيت-ul-Huzn مدد بعصمتك يا بيت-ul-Huzn مدد بعصمتك يا بيت-ul-Huzn مدد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. We will begin with an ayat from Surah Al-Fath, ayat number 4. هو الذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين ليزدادوا إيمانا مع إيمانهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد هو الذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين ليزدادوا إيمانا مع إيمانهم ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عليما حكيما. صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Verily it is He who has sent down Sakina upon the hearts of the believers, so that their faith may increase in addition to the faith that they already have. And to Allah belong the forces of the heavens and the earth, the soldiers, the armies of the heavens and the earth. And ever is Allah knowing and wise. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So as we know, in the Quran is contained every wet and dry thing. There is nothing in existence except for that its mention can be found in the Quran. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And every ayat is not reduced to one or two meanings, but there is infinite knowledge to be gleaned from the verses of the Quran. And so too will you find in the Quran 6 times the mention of the name Sakina. And this is one such mention in Surah Al-Fath, ayat number 4, where Allah says that He sent down as-Sakina, a very specific, special Sakina. First of all, what does Sakina mean? Sakina means calmness, tranquility, relief. So the first thing to notice is that Sakina is not born, Sakina is sent down. And Allah sent down Sakina into the hearts of the believers, meaning that Sakina is not for everyone, but for those who already have Iman, those who are already Mu'min. And why does Allah send down Sakina onto their hearts? لِيَزْدَادُوا إِيمَانًا مَعَ إِيمَانِهِمْ, so that their faith can be increased along with the faith that they already have. So these believers already have faith. And what is faith? What do the hadith tell us? Who is faith? Imam Ali alayhi salam. So, Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So these are mu'mineen. They have Mawla Ali in their hearts. And not just faith, they have absolute faith in their hearts. They have kulle iman. absolute, complete, not partial iman, not a part of faith. Like cleanliness is half of faith. So if you have half of faith, there is room for more. But that's not the mention here. Kull iman, absolute faith. Mawla Ali they have in their hearts. And in addition to that, Allah sends down Sakina. So that in addition to that absolute faith, they can have even more faith on top of it. So who can expand upon absolute and complete? That is Sakina. Salawat. Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. It's my pleasure to speak to you today on the fazail of the daughter of Imam al-Hussain, Bibi Sakina. And her glory is known to the very few. When you seek to learn more about her, you will find the same few phrases again and again. And this is because Allah has made some things obligatory for everyone. And other things He has kept secret for Himself. And He shares those with only a very few. Rather, He sends it down upon the hearts of the believers who have already fulfilled certain criteria. So do not expect the world to be able to tell you more about this daughter of Imam Hussain. If we wish to recognize Bibi Sakina, we will have to turn to the Quran and to our Imams. Salawat. First of all, you must know that fazail, glory and honor, is not related to age. When Adam was created by Allah, he was not even a few minutes old, and all of the angels had to do sajda to him. Allah didn't say Adam should live a few thousand years, first a few hundred years, do something to make him praiseworthy so that he can achieve and accomplish something. No, few minutes of his creation and the angels were obligated to prostrate to him. Because the fazail of Allah's chosen ones is not related to age, and especially Ali Muhammad came and brought all of their glory with them as much as they chose. So it was not added to with the actions that they took later on, or with the things that the achievements that humanity then witnessed and recorded. No, their fazail, they brought it with them. Bibi Sakina's real name is Fatima, because Mawla Hussain named all of his sons Ali and all of his daughters Fatima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So Bibi Sakina's real name is Fatima. And somebody asked Mawla Hussain that why you have so many sons and you named all of them Ali, and of your many daughters, all of them Fatima. And Mawla Hussain responded to that person and said, if I had 1,000 sons, I would name every one of them Ali. And if I had 1,000 daughters, I would name all of them Fatima. So then why is this honorable lady known to us by the name of Sakina? That is because Mawla Hussain gave her this laqab, this title. And when Mawla gives someone a title, then the attributes of that title fit in every respect. I will give you one example. Mawla Ali alayhi salam says of himself that the honeybee has a yasub. And like the yasub of the honeybee, I am the yasub of you Muslimin. And then when you look at the attributes of this guard bee, so to speak, what are the attributes? One, the bee that guards the hive never leaves. It stays at the doorway, and it doesn't go in search of food like the other bees do. It stays there guarding the entrance. So the first attribute is that the Yasub is not dependent on rizq. And Mawla Ali alayhi salam, of course, the same way, is also not depending on rizq. The second attribute is that the Yasub, he recognizes the intruders by their scent. Because every colony of bees, they have their own plants and flowers that they go to and their own scent based on living in the hive. And when a bee from another colony tries to come and intrude, the Yasub recognizes by their scent. And Mawla Ali says the difference is that I recognize them not by their scent but by their foreheads. And so there are so many different attributes of the guard bee, and every single one of them fits to your Mawla. So when Mawla gives a laqab, a title, or a comparison, then it has to fit in every respect and with every attribute. Otherwise, it would be a blame or an accusation on Mawla's wisdom and Mawla's knowledge that you chose this example, but here it doesn't fit, or there it doesn't fit. And Mawla Hussain, Huma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, is the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, the one about whom salawat. Huma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, about whom is written in the Quran, La yantiq anil hawa, that he does not, his lips do not move except for that it is the command of Allah. And what is the command of Allah is complete and perfect. And awwaluna Muhammad, awsatuna Muhammad, akhiruna Muhammad, kulluna Muhammad, every single one of them is Muhammad. And similarly, Mawla Hussain naming Bibi Sakina is similarly perfect and complete. And this is the minimum requirement of the Shia faith. So today we will speak in depth, inshallah, about the reality of this name Sakina and how it applies to the daughter of Imam al-Hussain. Bibi Sakina has one further laqab that is more widely known in the Arab world, and that is Ruqayya. And Ruqayya means taweez. A taweez is a holy writing that you keep on your person that protects you. Like some people would wrap Ayatul Kursi or Nadi Ali and wear it as a necklace or tie it to their arm, and it protects them. But Bibi Sakina is the taweez of Imam al-Hussain, who himself protects us from all harm and evil. And that Sakina, who is the taweez of Imam al-Hussain, how well and able is she to take care of our little minor problems? Salawat. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So shortly we will return to this ayat that we began this majlis with. But first, I would like to tell you that of your imams, 3 imams were asked, Ma as-Sakina? Ya ibn Rasulullah, what is Sakina? And the hadith I'm about to mention to you are listed in Al-Kafi, Kulb al-Asrad, Ma'ali al-Akhbar, and Uyun Akhbar al-Riza. First, to Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, Baqir al-Ulum, they said, Ma as-Sakina? Mawla responded, As-Sakinatu huwa al-Iman. Sakina means Iman. We need to distance ourselves from what has become of our faith and reclaim what it has always been. In all of the time since the passing of Prophet Muhammad till today, there has never been an era where the Shia of Imam Ali alayhi salam have been able to live in peace, to have been able to speak of their faith in peace, have been able to write down the hadith in peace and the fazail of Mawla Ali and his family in peace. What has reached us through the fear of death and persecution over 1400 years. And it is widely known among friend and foe that the praises of the Ahl al-Bayt have been hidden by the enemies because of their hatred, and hidden by the proponents, by the followers of the Ahl al-Bayt, because of fear that how will the people understand this? So what has reached you today has reached us through these circumstances, through death, through persecution, and through hiding on both sides. And beware of those who attack your faith. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. A very short excursion so that we can arrive on the plane with which we wish to speak. Because we are not among those who will say, poor Sakina, the 4-year-old little girl. That is what they have left of your religion after crushing it between their teeth. We do not belong to those. Because Allah has told us that the Ahl al-Bayt are those who have been purified. The Ahl al-Bayt are those who are pre-existing before the universe. The Ahl al-Bayt are those who are to be followed not only on this earth but on every planet. And when we reduce them to be like us, then we have created a sin from among the greater sins. We have committed the sin that is unforgivable. So first of all, distance yourself from this belief that they are like us. Because this, from the beginning of time until today, is the belief that has led mankind astray again and again. And this is the recurring weapon of shaitan. When Mullah Hussain said, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, that his daughter Fatima Bint al-Hussain is Sakina, then open your hearts and relinquish the disease of intellectualism and try to grasp the reality of Bibi Sakina. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. First and foremost, as-sakinatu huwa al-iman. Baqir al-ulum, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam is saying. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Then they asked Imam Musa Kazim alayhi salam, Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Yabna Rasulallah ma as-sakina. Imam Musa Kazim alayhi salam said, Ruhullah. Ruhullahi fakallamahu idh ikhtalafu fi shay. Sakina is the Ruhullah, that when the people differed amongst themselves, then Sakina is Ruhullah that came to guide and show the truth. وَتَبَيَّنَ مَا يُرِيدُونَ فِي شَيْءٍ. And whenever they determined to do something, they had an irada, an intention, then Sakina is the one who guided them. What does your Imam say? Your Imam says that you can only make an intention, Allah fulfills. And how does Allah fulfill? Imam Musa Kazim alayhi salam is saying through this Ruhullah Sakina. Then further we have Surah Naba, أَمَّا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ عَنِ النَّبَإِ الَّذِي الَّذِي هُمْ فِيهِ مُخْتَلِفُونَ كَلَّا سَيَعْلَمُونَ. And what is it about which they differ? About Naba al-Azim, about the great news? Very soon will they come to know. And Allah's law never changes. So what is Imam Musa Kazim alayhi salam telling us? That Sakina is the one who will make clear that about which they differ. Salawat. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So in Surah Naba, your Imams have made apparent in hadith that Naba'ul-Azim is your Imam Ali alayhi salam, and all of humanity is in discussion, disagreement, as you face in your daily life when you talk about Maula Ali Everybody likes to draw their own lines, their own borders of no Mawla Ali is this, no Mawla Ali is not that, no Mawla Ali is this. Although Allah made Mawla Ali, Ali the Most High, without borders, without boundaries. So that about which they differ, Allah says in the Quran, very soon they will come to know. كَلَّا سَيَعْلَمُونَ ثُمَّ كَلَّا سَيَعْلَمُونَ. And how will they come to know? Imam Musa Kazim alayhi salam is telling you, Ruhullahi فَكَلَّمَهُ إِذِ اخْتَلَفُوا فِي شَيْءٍ. Salawat. So we've heard from Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salam, we've heard from Imam Musa Kazim alayhi salam. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Then they went to Imam Raza alayhi salam and they said, Yabna Rasulallah, ma Sakina. Imam Raza responded, Rihun takhruju min al-jannati tayyiba. Sakina is a breeze coming from paradise, coming from heaven. Tayyiba. First, we need to differentiate between tayyiba and tahira, because both people will tell you is pure and clean. But this is a breeze, takhruju min al-jannah, coming out of Jannat, tayyiba. The difference between the two, tahir means free from impurities. There is no impurity to be found in something, then it's tahir. One example is that Allah has commanded us normal people to only eat that which is tahir, free from impurity. And for Ali Muhammad, the command is only eat that which is tayyib. And tayyib means full of good. So it's not enough for it to be free of impurity, it has to be full of good, then it's tayyib. And this breeze from heaven, rihun takhruju min al-jannati tayyiba, is not tahir, it is tayyib. Suratun ka suratil insan, and it has a form like the form of a human being. And kanat ma'al anbiya, it was with all of the prophets. وهي التي أنزلت على إبراهيم حين بنى الكعبة. And Allah sent this breeze onto Ibrahim when he was building the Kaaba. بنى الأساس عليها إشارة كذا فكذا. And because Ibrahim was commanded to build the Kaaba, but he didn't know how. What should be the borders? What shape should it have? How tall should it be? What materials should I use? And because he was left in this confusion that I've been ordered to build the Kaaba and I don't know how, what techniques, what measurements, then Allah sent down Sakina. And Sakina said, Kada fa kada, from here to there, now do this, now do that. Sakina was the building master, the head of construction of the Kaaba. But Ibrahim was not the only one who had to build something because Allah commanded him to. Other prophets also were commanded to build something special, something meaningful, something we remember till today. Was it not Prophet Nuh alayhi salam that built the ark? So who was the head of construction of the ark? If Sakina was the head of construction of the Kaaba, then who was the head of construction when it came time to build the ark? Surah Hud, ayat 37. وَاسْنَعُ الْفُلْكَ بِأَعْيُنِنَا وَوَحْيِنَا. Allah said then to Nuh alayhi salam, build it in front of our eyes. Now the Arabic language has a beautiful quality that there are different words for different numbers. Our English language is very weak. We have single, we have one and more than one. Arabic has 1, 2, 3 to 10 and more than 10. So ayn is one eye, aynayn is 2 eyes, uyun is many eyes, and a'yun is called jama al-qilla, so a number between 3 and 10. And when Allah said build it before our eyes, then Allah said a'yun. So 10 eyes, build this ark in front of our 10 eyes. 10 eyes, one person has 2 eyes, 2 people have 4 eyes, 5 people have 10 eyes. So in front of these 5, Nuh alayhi salam was ordered to build the Kaaba, and they watched over him and they told him how to build and they inspired him. Why did Nuh alayhi salam, for the Ark of Noah there were 5, for the Kaaba there was just Bibi Sakina? Because the Ark, it was for humans and animals. It was for halal, for haram too. It was for pure and for the impure. It was for everybody. But the Kaaba is the house of Allah. And the Kaaba was the place where Mawla Ali came to this world. And so for the Kaaba, Allah sent down His own Ruh, Bibi Sakina, to oversee the construction of it. Salawat. And you don't have to accept what is my belief, that this Sakina and the Sakina Mawla Hussain says is Sakina are one and the same, because my belief is that Allah's tongue and Mawla Hussain's tongue, they will always speak the same. They will all not differ from one another. So what Allah is calling Sakina and what Mawla Hussain is calling Sakina will always be the same. But if you doubt that this is that same Sakina, then just find me any other Sakina that this could refer to. Salawat. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So rihun takhruju min al-jannati tayyiba. A breeze from heaven that is tayyib. Now we come back to the ayat at the beginning of this majlis. What did Allah say? هو الذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين ليزدادوا إيمانا مع إيمانهم. So that's how far we got, right? That Allah sent down Sakina to the hearts of the believers. So in addition to their love of Mawla Ali, they could enjoy the love of Bibi Sakina and their faith could be increased. Wallahu junudu samawati wal ard. And to Allah belong the armies, the forces of the heavens and the earth. Why, after mentioning as-Sakina, is Allah mentioning armies? To understand this, again, we have to turn to our Imams and to their hadith. Because somebody came to Mawla Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. One more salawat, please. And Allah said to His Sahabas, Ar-Rihu jundullahi wa jundullahi al-akbar huwa aliyun. That Ar-Rih, the winds, they are a soldier of Allah. And Allah's greatest soldier, that is Mawla Ali alayhi salam. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So Mawla Ali and the breeze, these two are the soldiers of Allah. And that's why Allah says then in the Quran that the soldiers of the heavens and the earth, they belong to Allah. And Allah is ever knowing and wise. And you will see again and again, not just today, but the more you invest in learning about Bibi Sakina, the parallels between Bibi Sakina and Mawla Ali, again and again. Then we come. Yes. So the forces of Allah are the breeze and Mawla Ali. And this is why in Sham, Bibi Sakina said to Yazid, be grateful that you did not see our armies. So what they were fighting and desperately trying to gain some ground against Mawla Hussain and their so-called victory, and to them Bibi Sakina saying, be thankful. We didn't show you our armies. And who is saying that? She who is herself the soldier of Allah. Salawat. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Mawla Hussain says, La umri innani la hubbu darin tahillu bihi sakinatu wa rubab. Mawla says, I swear by my own life. Mawla Hussain swears by his own life. In the Quran, Allah swears sometimes by Prophet Muhammad's life. لَعُمْرِكَ. And here, Mawla Hussain by his own life. Where does Mawla Hussain's life begin? What does Mawla Hussain's life encompass? So many times in the Quran when Allah swears, Allah says, and this is indeed a weighty oath, if you but knew. And very similarly here, where Mawla Hussain says, I swear by my own life, that is an oath with as much gravity. And Mawla Hussain is swearing what? لَحُبُّ دَارٍ تَحِلُّ بِهَا السَّكِينَةَ وَرُبَابٍ. Not that I love Bibi Sakina and Rubab. That's not what Mawla Hussain is saying. Mawla Hussain says, I swear I love the house in which Bibi Sakina and Bibi Rubab reside. The house, the building, the bricks, the clay, the wood that houses them. And whether that house is made of wood and stone, or whether that house is made of flesh and blood and a beating heart, Mawla Hussain loves that house. So much so that Mawla swears by his own life. And then Mawla says, أُحِبُّهُمَا وَأَبْذُلُ جُلَّ مَالِي. And I love them. I love Sakina and I love Rubab. And I will spend the majority of my wealth upon them. وَلَيْسَ لِيَ الَّتِي بَعِيُّ دِئِتَابٍ. And I don't care who complains or who reproaches me. I don't care what anyone thinks or has to say about this, because I love them and I will spend the majority on them. Salawat. Once more, please. I would like to take a few moments of your time to share with you Bibi Sakina's own words, because we have heard now from the Quran, we have heard from Mullah Muhammad Baqir alayhi salam, Imam Musa Kazim alayhi salam, Imam Ali Raza alayhi salam, and from Mawla Hussain. And now, so that it is clear to every doubter, and so that it is clear to every wonderer and every questioner, in Bibi Sakina's own words that she spoke in Kufa, a few minutes of your time, I would like to share with you verbatim. Salawat. And she says, all praise is for Allah, a praise which numbers more than the grains of the sand, and is weightier than the earth and arsh combined. I praise Him, trust Him, and I testify that there is no God except Allah. He is alone and has no partner. Muhammad is His servant and messenger, and the pure offspring of Muhammad were slaughtered near the banks of the river Furat. O Allah, You took from Your creation the promise of allegiance for the Vilayat of Ali, for the Vilayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib, and made this wajib upon them. But Your creation has broken this promise of allegiance. They usurped His right and martyred Him. Then they martyred His son Hussain. O Allah, You are well aware that my grandfather was martyred in Your house in the presence of other Muslims, and these Muslims admitted to oppressing Amir al-Mu'mineen. But for Your sake my grandfather was patient. He left this world, but his attributes and greatness will remain for all of eternity, and no one will ever be able to reach his status. O Allah, I am very young, but I am aware of the greatness of the attributes of my grandfather. O Allah, You are well aware of how my grandfather protected Your Tawheed and Your Prophet. He had no concern for this world. He fought in Your way. You chose him and declared him to be Your Sirat al-Mustaqim. O people of Kufa, O cheaters, Allah tested you through Ahl al-Bayt. Through us your iman was tested, and verily we are the successful of those who are tested. Allah has given His knowledge to us and made us the trustees of His knowledge. We are the source of His wisdom. We are the hujjat of Allah upon the heavens and the earth. Allah honored us and raised our status before the creation through Muhammad. You denied us and committed kufr with Allah. You made slaughtering us lawful and looted our wealth. In your eyes, we were not the offspring of Rasulullah. You treated us as if we were a group of common rebels. You martyred my grandfather, and your swords are dripping with the blood of Ahlul Bayt. For a very long time now, your hearts have been filled with hatred and animosity towards us. You slaughtered Ahlul Bayt, and afterwards you rejoiced and celebrated. You attributed lies to Allah. You were deceitful, and Allah does not allow those who are deceitful to succeed. You committed every atrocity against us and looted our wealth, but you will not gain any benefit from this. Whatever we had to face in this world, it was for the sake of Allah. Do not be pleased with the atrocities and the acts of oppression which you committed against us. Verily, Allah curses those who are proud and arrogant. May Allah destroy you. Soon the wrath and curse of Allah that has become your destiny will fall upon you. You will have to face the immense wrath of Allah. Verily, you will taste of its severity. May the curse of Allah be upon the oppressors. Woe be upon you! We know those who obeyed us, and those who waged war against us, and those who came to our support, and those who abandoned us. And you were amongst those who waged war against us, because your hearts have become impure from filth. Allah sealed your hearts, eyes, and ears. Shaitan became your leader and led you astray. O people of Kufa, may Allah destroy you. What wrong did Rasulullah do against you that caused you to commit such atrocities against his brother and my grandfather Ali ibn Abi Talib and to his offspring? You felt pride in our martyrdom and our imprisonment. How can it be that this ummah can feel pride in slaughtering those whom Allah himself has made pure and kept all impurities from coming near to them? Verily, every person will reap whatever he has sown. Woe be upon you! You became envious of us because of the status and greatness which was bestowed upon us by Allah. However, Allah blesses those whom He chooses, and those who were not created from Nur can never be like those who were created from Nur. Salawat. And you will find this khutbah in Hayat al-Imam al-Hussain in the 3rd volume. Because every person, when they speak, you come to know them. So the doubters that would like to believe that any one of the Ali Muhammad could be like us should hear the words of the Ahlul Bayt, should obey the commands of the Ahlul Bayt, and should try not to reduce, not to become among those who reduce their glory and so inadvertently become their enemy. When Mawla Ali Akbar came to this world, the books recite تحل على وجه الحسين فرحا وسرورا, that Mullah Hussein's face was adorned with joy and happiness. But when Bibi Sakina came to this world, then Mullah Hussain spontaneously said, La ilaha illallah. And the reality of Bibi Sakina is so much more than what I tried to share with you today. And as long as we begin, as long as we set their beginning at the end of our minimal knowledge, and when we set their beginning at the end of our imagination, we will always reduce them. And so the only way is to be careful. And when you hear the praises of the Ahlul Bayt, don't ever say, how is that possible? The only way is to ask Allah to bestow their marifat upon you. Because Allah is the one, as we learn in Surah Fath, who will send down Sakina onto the hearts of the believers. Salawat. Salawat again, please. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. I will slowly tell of this masayib and the grief of this daughter of Imam Hussain. Bibi Sakina's shahadat is very near, and in her 4 years of life, she has experienced pain and suffering that 40,000 years would not be enough to endure. The trials and tribulations that anyone faces is generally in relation to their status. Hazrat Hur, his trial, what he suffered, is not comparable to what Mawla Ali Akbar suffered, because Mawla Ali Akbar's status is so much higher. And then what Mawla Hussain suffered is again that much higher. And so you should know that Mawla Bakr 5 years of age, Bibi Sakina 4 years of age, they suffered the same. They endured the same trials. They went through the same Kufa and the same Sham and the same Karbala, except for that Bibi Sakina suffered such injuries and such pain, the likes of which even Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salam did not suffer. Mawla Ali, the reciter of the sermon of Shaqshaqiyya, abandoned his khutbah and hastened out of the masjid. In the middle of the khutbah, he stopped and rushed to leave. And the people said, Ya Ali, where are you going? Mawla Ali said, look, there is a storm coming. And my daughter-in-law, Rubab, is at home, and her windows were open. I'm going to close those windows. Not that through the sandstorm, any grains of sand come into her hair. The sermon of Shaqshaqiyya, the reciter of that sermon, and that mother of Bibi Sakina. Slowly, let's journey together. Let's collect the pieces. Let's remember your Sayyida Fatima, daughter of Rasulullah, very few years of age. She saw Prophet Muhammad's amama, and she lifted it and she put it on her head. And some wife of Prophet Muhammad yelled at her so badly and said, what are you doing as a girl, as a lady? You are wearing a man's amama. And when she yelled at Bibi Fatima this way, then Prophet Muhammad came, and he crying and doing matam, he says, don't ever talk to Fatima that way again. Fatima is my inheritor. Fatima is the waris of my amama. Don't ever speak to her that way again. And many years later, Mawla Hussain, living with Bibi Rabab and Bibi Sakina, and Bibi Rabab is herself so beloved, so holy, and she only said to Bibi Sakina, Sakina, what did I tell you? That's it. That's all she said. And Mawla Hussain came into the room, crying, sobbing and wailing, and said, Rubab, don't ever speak to Sakina that way. Rubab, what do you know? How many people will yell at her? How much she will have to hear? How many times she will be hit? Rubab, don't ever, never, don't talk to her this way. And the masayib of your Mawla, you can, I beg of you, do not pity your Imam. Do not pity the Ahlul Bayt. They are so much higher than your pity. Don't commit that sin. Recognize their reality. Recognize their fazail. That is why, it is because of their greatness that from the beginning of time till after everything is gone, their grief will remain. Somebody, one of Imam Zainab-E-Zahra alayhi salam's Sahaba, was in front of Mawla and doing wuzu. And Mawla is just watching him as he does wuzu. How much water do you need to do wuzu? Not a lot. And Mawla is watching, and the man is rinsing his mouth, washing his hands, and from Mawla's eyes, blood drips, tear after tear, more and more. And the man, he turns and he says, Mawla, did I do something wrong? Mawla says, you did nothing wrong. Just watching you, I remembered one of my relations. He says, Yabna Rasulullah, which relation? He says, oh man, my 4-year-old sister, Sakina. From the 11th of Muharram to the 16th of Rabiul Awwal, 65 days, she did not drink that much water. How much you just used to do wuzu. The people will tell you that after Shami Ghariba, then the family of Mawla Hussain received water, but that is not true. After Shami Ghariba, the children of the Sahaba drank water. The children of the Ahlul Bayt still did not drink water. They still went thirsty. Why? Because when it was time to hand out water, Shimr first gave water to his soldiers and then to the horses. And when the horses were done drinking from the troughs, then he said to Imam Zainul Abidin, tell your children, whoever wants to drink from here should drink. Then the children of the Sahaba drank and the children of Ahlul Bayt did not. Bibi Sakina says that one Thursday in Syria, she had a dream. And in this dream, there was a maid from heaven. Bibi Sakina asked her, who are you? She says, I am a maid from heaven. And the introductions were made. And then Bibi Sakina saw 5 holy figures approaching. And Bibi Sakina asked the maid of heaven, who are these? And the maid said, this is Adam. This is Nuh. This is Musa. This is Isa. Bibi Sakina says, but there is a 5th. He's holding his beard and he's falling and he's getting up and he's falling and getting up. And who is this person? And she says, that is your grandfather, Muhammad. And Bibi Sakina says, and where are they going? And she says, they are going to see Mawla Hussain. Then again, 5 holy figures approach. And Bibi Sakina says, who are these? And she says, this is Hawa, this is Asiya, this is Maryam, this is Khadija. And Bibi Sakina says, there's a 5th with her hand on her head and she's falling and rising and falling and rising. Who is that? And she says, this is your mother Fatima. This is your grandmother. I don't need to tell you what kind of Messiah Bibi Fatima witnessed. So Bibi Sakina says to herself that my grandmother is here. Let me go to her. Let me tell her what has happened. Let me tell her what has befallen upon us. So Bibi Sakina tried. 4 things, she said. She says, oh my mother, they withheld our rights. Oh dear mother, they scattered our group. Oh dear mother, they violated our sanctity. Oh dear mother, by Allah, they killed my father Hussain. And then Fatima, that Fatima who stood 9 hours in the court of Abu Bakr, that Fatima who held the torn up pieces of her father's writing, that Fatima who watched her house burn, the broken ribbed Fatima says, stop, Sakina, stop. sentences. 4 things she could say. Bibi Fatima says, stop, Sakina. You're tearing my liver. You're breaking my heart. Stop. This is the shirt of your father Hussain that I have preserved until I meet Allah along with it. Someone went to your Mawla Sajjad and said, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, you cry blood every day. Is there something that happened that is like an arrow in your heart that is giving you no peace, that you cry blood every day? Mawla Sajjad stands up and does matam and says, is this a question or a sword? What did you ask me? I will cry blood, and I will cry blood in my grave. But something did happen that even on the day of Qiyamah, I will be crying blood. He says, Mawla, what happened? He says, oh man, you know, I have a 4-year-old sister, and on the way from Kufa to Sham, she asked me for a very few things. A few wishes she made, and I was able to fulfill none of them. Twice she asked me for water. Both times I had nothing to give. You should know Shimr always did one of 2 things. Either he was writing on Mawla Sajjad's back, and the ink always bled through the paper, or he was beating up Bibi Sakina. He was hitting Bibi Sakina. And these were his 2 occupations. These are the only things he spent his time doing. And Mawla Sajjad tells the man, he says, I was bent over because Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salam was tied to my chest. And in front of me was the crowd of Sham. There was no way ahead. And Shimr's telling me, go more quickly. Hurry, go, but there is no room to go. And when there's no room to go, then Shimr begins his pastime. And he is lashing Mawla Sajjad's back. And in that moment, Bibi Sakina turns to Shimr. And she looks him in the eye and she says, oh Shimr, have you no shame? From Karbala till now you have been beating my brother. Have shame, stop it. I ask you, did Bibi Sakina not know what would happen next? Of course she did. But she was Mushkil Kusha-e Karbala. She was the Mushkil Kusha of Mawla Abbas. She was the Mushkil Kusha of Mawla Hussain. She's his taskeen. She came to him in the most difficult moment. And she was the Mushkil Kusha of Mawla Zain al-Abidin the whole way. So then he turns from Mawla Sajjad and he starts attacking Bibi Sakina. The man asks, did he stop? Then Mawla says, no, Shimr and stopping. Then Sakina requested something from me. She said, Ulli Shimr ala yadribu biwajhi sawt al-jafa. Tell Shimr not to hit my face because my face is already so wounded. He can hit me somewhere else. But wounds upon wounds and blood upon blood, tell him not my face. He says, Mawla, did you tell him? He says, I did. Of course I did. He says, then did he stop? Mawla Sajjad says, after I said to him, don't hit her face. Then again and again, he shouted the same words. Will you complain to your brother again? Will you complain to him again? This is the daughter of your Imam al-Hussain. This is her shahadat. If there is a day to cry, then it is today. That same Sakina who poured her water out onto Imam Zainab-E-Zahra's chains. That same Sakina who went searching for Mullah Hussain. That same Sakina who spoke in Kufa and in Sham. When she was in the prison, suddenly she woke up and she said, Ayna Abi, where is my father? And Bibi Zainab turned to her and she said, Sakina, did you have a dream? And she says, I dreamed my father was close to me and he was holding me and he kissed my injured ears and he held me for a long time. But then he put me down and I begged him to stay and I held on to his clothes and I said, Father, don't go. But he left. Where is my father? Oh, where is my father gone? And this was so devastating that all of the prisoners, they wept and they cried and their voices raised to the ceilings, raised to the skies, so much that the whole castle, everyone, the whole building, they woke up. What is this noise? Who is screaming like this? Who is wailing like this? And Yazid woke up and he said, what is going on? And they said, Sakina is crying for her father. She's not to be calmed. Nothing is helping. Everyone is crying. Yazid says, then go to the treasury, get the head of Hussain, give it to her and she'll be quiet. Would seeing your father's severed head make you stop crying? But they did as he said. And when they came in holding Mullah Hussein's head by the hair, Imam Zainab-E-Zahra said, oh man, if you don't know how to carry the head of Hussain with respect, then come to me, give it to me, tell me. These are the lips that the Prophet kissed. And if one of his hair broke, then Zahra would cry a whole day. If you don't know how to hold the Quran, then give it to me. Imam Zainab-E-Zahra takes Mullah Hussein's head and goes to Sakina and says, oh Sakina, here is your father. Look, do you recognize him? Bibi Sakina looks. And the hair is disheveled. And the cheeks are broken and bleeding. Where is the Hussain from Medina who put her to sleep on his chest? Where is the father with whom she ate dates? Where is the father who wept and said, Rubab, don't talk to Sakina like that. Where is the Hussain who said La ilaha illallah when she was born? But her daughter's eyes, she recognized him, of course. And she said, Father, are you my father? And she held Mullah Hussein's head to her chest and she says, Father, every time I slept on your chest, now you sleep on mine. Father, do you know what they did? Father, did you see what they did to me? Father, have you seen my ears? The earrings that you gave me, did you see how they took them? Father, have you seen my face? Father, weeping and crying and telling her pain, finally, Bibi Sakina fell asleep. And then the night held its breath. And when the dawn broke, Bibi Zainab came and she said, Sakina, it's enough. Sakina, get up. Sakina, come. That's enough. And the next thing she said was, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Mata mein Hussain.